Right, now let's address Jamie Fitzgrade's question. Okay, now, how do we expand? That's up to you guys. How many of you have shared the stream this evening? We get between 300 and 400 views per show. Now, if everybody who viewed the show shared it, we'd get more people to the show. Do you share the stream? Do you share the shout out? Do you share the shout out page on the Clownfest site? I can do this every week. I can be here every week, but I need your help to make this grow. You need to tell someone about us. You need to encourage people that you know that produce music to get involved. That's how we grow. But without you doing that, there will be no growth. I can continue, sharing this to all the pages that I've got on a dead platform. Okay, TikTok is another one. We need to do little short videos and put them on TikTok. However, I have noticed that you'll get 3,000 views to a video, but you'll get no traffic to the actual site. So is it worth it? In my opinion, no. Instagram is the same. Instagram is a quick 1 minute flyby where you don't really care and it's the attention span of the people out there at the moment. Also, are we playing hip, trendy music that the kids are liking? No. So we're not going to get that demographic in for us, okay? Unless we get some people who are in that demographic putting tracks in. But again, that falls to you guys to start promoting this. If everybody that put a track in shared the shout out posts, we would, chances are, with a little blurb, hey, this is a great community, please come and get involved. I do this week in, week out, and I share to my page, but I'm already sharing to my page where people know what we're doing. So you guys who are watching the show, everybody needs to start sharing a little bit more. I'm not saying you're not sharing enough. I'm just saying we could step up the sharing a little bit. It's the same for nights when you put nights on. If you don't share the post, nobody is going to see it. So I need everybody's help, and I mean everybody's help, to share the stream a little bit more. That's how we grow. But if you guys don't share the stream and you don't tell people we're out here, if you don't have producer friends that don't know about us, how are they going to get involved? Well, Oliver, pretty much everybody who has put a tune in is involved in right now. Everybody who's put a tune in. Surge is in. Who did we have before Surge? Who did we have before Surge? Hostapal, he's in. Nazmaz, he's in. Jamie Fitzgrade, he's in. Arjang, he's in. Who else have we got in there? Bad Badger, he's in. Graham comes from South Africa, so it's very difficult for him to be in. Iapetus is in. Sounds of James is in. Ozo is in. Arjang is in. So's Tim Miller. Dave Bewley is in. So the people that are in, have put tracks in, are watching. But we need a little bit more sharing from these people to be able to tell other people that this happens. If you don't share the stream, if you don't share the shout out, if you don't promote the show, how are we going to get more people in? That's the long and the short of it. Engagement is a joke these days, absolutely. There's absolutely no point in having an artist page at the moment. They don't push it. The only way that Facebook will push it is if you pay, and I'm not paying. Why, like everything we do, or the URL is for free or self-sustaining. Why would I want to spend 30 quid every week to try and push a post that probably won't get seen by the demographic we need it to? I've seen loads and loads and loads of pages that do tiny little shorts, and they get thousands of views to those tiny little shorts. Do they get traffic to the actual page that they're trying to show? No. Why do they not do that? Because nobody gives a shit. Watch a video. Next. 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 And I'm guilty of it myself. I spent hours doom scrolling for no reason. And the whole reason they do it in such short bursts is because the mind won't remember what came before it, because it's so short. You haven't got the retention of the memory to remember what you just watched, so you're into the next one, and you're into the next one. This is a device of evil. It is a device of evil. It's a device to keep you occupied all the fucking time. And it's getting worse. It is getting worse. Facebook is a dying platform. Do I think TikTok's any better? No. Do I think Instagram's any better? No. So, unless you guys start sharing the stream more, what can I do? Yeah, Alien Probe. Maybe you could do shorts of you reacting to tunes on a show with link to the show. Yeah, absolutely. But the problem is nobody clicks links. Nobody clicks links, especially if it's like I've seen Doghouse come up, and I've seen Jonathan R. Cross come up on my on my link feed, and a few other people around, and I've seen the Clown Army sound system in Newcastle come up as well. But it's up to the people to click. And also, you're fighting in a mire of so many other shorts. And the whole reason they're shorts is so you forget what you've just watched and want to see this one and want to see the next one. They're very, very clever at what they're doing. The CIA has been involved in this for a very, very long time. The short attention span of the world these days, and I'm guilty of it myself. I struggle watching a film these days, but I'll doom scroll for hours. Watching stupid shit like people, overeating, and what else am I watching? Some fishing programs, and some car programs and stuff. We are the MTV generation. We are the MTV generation. Yeah, if you push a post, you don't really get people. Don't get people really interested. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's word of mouth, and you guys are the people that need to share it on word of mouth. So, if you can, share the stream. Give a little blurb about us. Say something about the Clown Army. Yeah, I don't see a lot of those posts on Facebook, and I really would like to. I'm not going to tell you to do it. I'd rather you did it out of the kindness of your own heart because you'd like to see us grow. Do I think that there are a lot of people within the Clown Army that deserve record contracts? Absolutely. But are we the demographic that would be, we're not Taylor Swift. We're not, no, not DJ Hype, James Hype. We're not James Hype. We're not those people. We care about integrity of music. And a lot of people out there couldn't give a fucking shit about that. Yeah? So we are in a very, very small category of people that give a shit about music, Yeah. Anyway. Set up a GoFundMe for promo. I don't see that's viable. You just throwing money away. What would be the point? The whole point is, if you've got a track in, share it. Share the stream. I've just put a track into the URL. You should do the same. If you're a producer, this is a great place, It's a no-brainer to me, but then I do it every week. Do you? On with the show. Now, where were we? What was I going to have? Yes. View count. Exactly. Am I a big-titted goth girl with, in makeup and ooh? Am I that? No. So we're not going to get those people tune into us, and it's a throwaway society today. It really, the rant is huge today. We live in a throwaway society where doom scrolling is, acceptable. And yeah, and the only reason these people are watching those big titty goth girls playing games is because of lust. Yeah. We care about music. That's what makes us different to everybody else. Like Rancid Poet said one time, you are the only show that actually takes the time to listen to music and constructively talk about the music. Yeah. But that's not what our society is geared up for. Have you seen... the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games, when they're coming in on the train and you can see everybody and they're all dolled up and they've got big hair and avant-garde makeup and and they're cheering on death. That's where we're headed. That's where the human race is headed. It's ridiculous. We have integrity. We have integrity here. We care about what we do. We care about the music we put out. We care about the shows we put out, and that's kind of lost on today's generation. Like Man versus Food. It's entertaining. Katina eats kilos. It's entertaining, but it is bite-sized 5 minutes pieces of somebody doing up a car, and you get satisfaction out of it because you start with like a car that's dirty and filthy, and then you see it at the end. So you get everything that there are 7 things that the humans need. It's like connection. I can't remember what it is, but you get all of this on Facebook. So there's no reason to look outside of it. We are outside of it. We don't operate on Facebook these days. We operate all off of it, and mostly everybody is on Instagram or TikTok, and they're getting their dopamine levels hit, and they're getting all the things that you need from it, in one hit, in like a 5-minute hit, because you get the uncertainty, certainty, connection. There's a few other bits and pieces as well to that, but there are 7 needs. There we go. 7 needs that a human has, and if something gives you 3 of those needs, you will become addicted to it. And Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all those things pretty much give you the 7. The uncertainty, what video is coming next? Certainty, I know this person on TikTok, so I know what's coming. Connection, I feel connected with whatever's going on because it's a subject matter that I like. We live in really fucking weird times, and it's all literally like Tony Duncan said earlier, it's all down to the CIA and mind control. It's keeping us passive as possible, so that we will accept the minimum amount of fucking just to keep us going, that will keep going each day. I was like, oh well, maybe tomorrow will be better. It's bullshit. And until we all stand up as one and say we don't need that. We had, and this drives me so mad, we had a system reset, with COVID. Everybody worked from home, everybody managed to do it, and then suddenly we decided to go back to what we had. I cannot fathom that, we had a change, a reset in the system. We proved that it could work differently, and we went back to the old. What? It's absolutely insane. We do not need to be working as much as we are working at the moment. We have an abundance of food. We have an abundance of everything. But the powers that be will tell you that there is an energy crisis, my arse, and that there's a food crisis. The only reason that they're telling us this is because they own these things and they want us to pay more for it. Absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely... Have I ranted enough? Have I ranted enough? Can I stop ranting now? Anyway, until we all stand up and say, no, I'm not having it, then, I was watching something the other day about some guy who was like, oh, we need to, all of us blanket say no to digital ID. And he was talking about the 30 days and what would happen after the 30 days. Nobody is willing to go for 30 days of that uncertainty for a change in what we do. Nobody. Why would Mr. 2.4 or 1.4 as it is now, why would Mr. 1.4 kids with a mortgage and payments on his car and putting his kids through college rock the boat that much? I'm okay. I can afford to send my kids to college. I can afford to go to work. Why would I rock the boat that much? Because we want a better way of doing things. Anyway, shall we get on? End of the track. Okay, quick rant here. Remember back in the 60s and 70s, before women got the right to vote, and one man would totally have enough cash to pay for a whole household and buy a car and all that kind of stuff. We've gotten to a point now where we have 2 incomes in the house and we still can barely afford anything. And it's very clever of them to do that, isn't it? We'll just push the price of this up a little bit, we'll push it up a little bit more, we'll push it up a little bit more, and so now that we have 2 incomes coming into the household and the family unit has been split up, so that the one parent can't, whether it's the man or the woman, I don't care, I'm not sexist in this, either or can do it. It's so the family unit has been split up so that we don't get enough time to spend with our children, so that the state, it then becomes the mother or the father in the schools. Yeah, it's very clever of them to do that. Overnight when women got the vote, they could now tax 100% of the population, whereas beforehand they could only tax 50% of the population. And I'm not saying we should go back to that. What I'm saying is we need a fair fucking deal. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. Now that we've got 2 incomes coming into the household, you would have thought we would have had enough spare cash to be able to go on holiday 4 or 5 times a year, or to be able to afford those things that you want, but we don't. And the reason being is because they've got us in that 40-40 trap. You work 40 hours for 40 years for a house you're never going to own, and keeping us paying those bills. Again, it comes down to, is Mr. 2.4 going to risk, rocking the boat to get a better way of doing things? Anyway. And Thatcher stopped free milk for the kids. Yeah, she also, said that single mothers could have households. So then, people played the system by saying, "Oh, I don't have a father for my child, therefore I can have a house." It's just like we shouldn't have to do that, And why are house prices so expensive? A house 3 doors down from us. £420,000 it sold for. £420,000. That's nearly half a fucking million. My mum bought her first house for 9 fucking grand. Like how is this? How is this? It's unbelievable. And if wages has gone up at the same rate as inflation has gone up, we should be on about 66 quid an hour these days, but we're not. Anyway, we have come to the end of show 368, and what a show. It's been full of rants, and that's because the world is a shitty fucking nightmare at the moment. This could be a beautiful place. We have a beautiful garden to play around in, and what have we decided to do? Fill it with cars and concrete. It's not what the human soul is about. However, if you believe spirituality, then this is like the hardest setting. When you play a game and you walk into that game and you've got settings that you can choose, this is one of apparently, if spirituality is to be believed, then this is the hardest setting of anything. It's one of the only settings where fear and hatred and all those things are run amok in the world, and that's probably why we'll never change it, because that is the nature of what this planet is all about, and it's ridiculous. We don't need to be living like this. We don't need to be divided. We don't need to be divided by color, race, religion, all of these things. We simply just don't need to be divided by it. However, we are divided by it, and it's a real fucking shame. And it pains me every day. I wake up and I see arguments, petty arguments that mean fuck all. It's just, and it's all about mindsets. And as I said about that little girl who said, who was proud of her dad, my daddy put up flags because he's proud of his country. That's how we pass on shitty information, and that shouldn't be the way it is. Children should be allowed to live their lives until they make up their own mind about what's going on, and then and only then should you tell them your views. You should offer them the truth, and you should offer them a different way of looking at things. That's what we need to do as people. What we don't need to do as people is pass on shitty views. That's how we stay locked in this horrible, shitty state of affairs that we're in, Guns. I don't think guns should be on this planet. There's no fucking need for them, If you have a quarrel with somebody, walk away. Don't, And again, this is my thing on it. I was watching Charlie Kirk and some woman who was talking about terminations, and Charlie Kirk was like, yes, you should have the baby regardless of how it's how it's conceived, and the woman was like, but surely it should be free choice, and that's exactly how it should be. What makes Charlie Kirk's point of view any more valid than the woman's point of view that it's happening to? It should be personal choice at the end of the day. God isn't going to care, and if he does care, then he's not the omnipotent being that we thought he was, that is shrouded in love, and there are 360 some individual gods that we worship on this planet, and we all think that they all think that whichever one they pray to is the one and ultimate. I don't think that's the case. Heaven and hell is a construct of humans, and used as a controlling form for the masses. That's literally it. Anyway. Yep, stop wars. We could be living like Star Trek. Yeah, stop the Trident missiles, the nuclear submarines, and spend that money on clothing and feeding the world, which it would do many, many times over. I don't understand why we're so paranoid about this. There's a documentary on Netflix. It's called something about the atom bomb or something, and it goes way back, to when humans were very, very paranoid about what everybody else was doing, and so the Russians had secret informers in the English and American camps, and they were feeding them disinformation, and the English and the Americans were doing exactly the same to the Russians. So both sides were thinking that each other side had more weapons than they actually had, so they were like, right, we've got to build a bigger weapon. And then the H-bomb came along and it, totally destroyed Japan because they decided to get involved in Pearl Harbor. It's just fucking ridiculous. It's all paranoid human beings beings, scared. And if we drop that and say, hey, look, that was wrong, and move forward, we might be able to sort this shit out. I don't know. Yeah, I hope that if aliens do come, they take away the instruments of war, the missiles, the bombs, etc. Absolutely. I'm fingers crossed that 3-Hour Atlas it is that. It's a weird rock that's rolling through space, and hopefully it will bring forth our new alien overlords, and hopefully they won't be overlords. They'll be like, what are you doing? You have a beautiful planet here. You're just making a mess of it. What bugs me on this, I've said this many times, if there was a book as detailed as the Bible on the universe, the humans would show up halfway down the last page. We're not. The world will shrug us off and continue to grow and be this wonderful place that it is. Even if we nuke it, it will still continue. It'll take a couple of million years, but maybe not that long, a couple of thousand years to get rid of all the nuclear fallout and stuff. But things will start to grow again on this planet. We are an infestation. We are a virus in shoes, ladies and gentlemen. All this backslapping ain't humanity neat bullshit. What have I got on my... Well, at least it's not poo. All this backslapping ain't humanity neat bullshit. Fuck that. We're a virus in shoes. If you look at cities from above, they look like cancer. We're not living in harmony with our planet. I don't know. Apes with guns. Yeah, absolutely. Apes with guns. Anyway, it's been a pleasure ranting to you this evening. It has been a weird show, I will say. It has been a very, very weird show, full of rants. And yeah, the only thing I will ask you to do as human beings for me and the show and the community is tell someone about us. When I put the shout out up, share it with a little blurb. Hey, this community is great. You should really get involved. We don't care who you are. We don't care how you self-identify. We don't care what God you pray to. We don't care what religion you are. We don't care anything about that. We care that you are not a cunt, and that is it. But yeah, just share the stream. Tell people about the Clown Army. Yeah, it has been a pleasure. There will be a new shout out going up next Monday, so watch out for that. Don't forget that we are in Newcastle this week on Thursday, and then I'm in Blackpool on Saturday. The Thursday event should be streamed, providing the internet at the place is strong enough to hold the stream. And the event on Saturday will be recorded, and my set will be out at some point. Yeah. Thank you all so very, very much for joining me this evening. I hope you have a wonderful time until I see you next. And just like Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other. Even if you disagree. And this is the thing. You don't have to force somebody to think the way you do. What you have to do, and this is Bill Hicks again, forgiveness and acceptance are the only tools we've got in the box. We've used hatred and violence and all these other things that just didn't fucking work. And acceptance and forgiveness. I accept you for the views that you have, and I forgive you for those views that you have. I'm not going to listen to your views, and you're not going to push your views upon me. And I don't expect anybody to do that. I know that in the chat thread we have people of all kinds of nationalities and thought processes and all that, but we meet here for music. It's common ground. That's what we have to find with each other, is common ground. Not the differences between us, but the things that we have in common with each other. And the things that we have in common with each other are, we all live on a round rock floating through space. I don't understand why you're being patriotic about one little bit of a ball. Be patriotic for the whole fucking ball. Common ground, like coffee. All of us like coffee, AMK. Absolutely true. So, yeah, I will see you Thursday, 6 o'clock till 2 in the morning for a live stream. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if that works. If you're in Newcastle, come and join us. If you're in Blackpool on Saturday, come and join us for Blobbypalooza 2. Okay, I'm off.